Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're at and what time of the day and you are listening to this, I have you all covered. So I like to say good morning all the time because half the world is in mourning and you can take that either way. Today, my sponsor is the eFit Mini Gym, which will go anywhere and travel anywhere you want. So you can have that in your hotel room, in your office, anywhere you have room and desire to do a little exercise. And this will accommodate 99% or more of your big ticket items. And believe me, those big ticket items are great, but this mini fit eFit gym will be smaller and more economical because under $200 and at the cost. And if you get one of the 3 packages that are listed on there, you can have $20 off today by putting the Ernie 20 in the package when you buy it. Oh yeah, I'm all tongue-tied this morning. I'm still waking up. It's 9:10 a.m. Today's guest is Barry Donovan. I met him at a meetup group and he definitely has caught the vision and the eye of my attention as far as business is concerned. I've known him for a couple of years now, and I like to get together with him and his colleagues at our meetup group on Thursdays, every other Thursday, and I can't wait till we go back to every Thursday so I don't forget which Thursday it is. So, Barry, how are you today?
Living the dream, Ernie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm thankful for having you on my show. And tell the audience a little bit about what you used to do and where you came from.
Okay, so my early career, right out of college, I was involved in the nonprofit sector. Actually, I worked for a couple consulting firms that service the nonprofit sector. We raised money for economic development programs for chambers of commerce. One of the big things that I was involved with early on was bringing the Olympics to Atlanta. We raised money to promote Atlanta as a host site for the Olympics through the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, and I was the director of the fundraising campaign for the firm that did the counseling for the chamber. So I did that, and then I moved over to the other side of the desk in the nonprofit world, where I was regional director, I should say, of the American Diabetes Association in Central Florida. We ran special events, had a board of 45 members, and was a great job, a great learning experience. Had tremendous, wonderful board members who made sure all our activities, our events were done perfectly. You know, we were behind the scenes organizing it all, but they were the ones making it happen. And then after a while, I moved out of the nonprofit sector. My background and degree is in marketing, and I started working for a direct marketing agency. And we did direct marketing, direct mail for all the timeshare companies in Orlando, which, you know, Orlando is the center of all the timeshare industry. That's where it started. And we worked with Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, you name it. They were a client of ours. So I managed those campaigns and helped direct the advertising, you know, the design. I didn't do the design, but I was the liaison who put everybody together and got those campaigns off and in the mail, so to speak. So I did that for many years.
Yep.
Started my own firm with a colleague from the direct marketing company. We picked up a few clients right away, and then we got off on a tangent. And how do I put this? Well, let's just say we started a software business as a marketing agency. I came up with an idea of a program that worked on the all right, we didn't have these back then. This was back in 2000, 2001. The app, so to speak, would run off the Palm Pilot and the web, and it was called Beyond the Lesson, and it was a tool for golf instructors at first. It was also for any instructional type of business. And the golf instructor would say to you as a student after the lesson, here's here's the little login information. Go to this web address, log in, and I'm going to summarize our meeting, our lesson, and give you some pointers and some videos to watch. And you can access those pointers anytime on the golf course on your Palm Pilot. So we brought that to the PGA, and we wanted to do a partnership with the PGA. They were very interested. We had several meetings. And then finally, when we were getting right close, we drove down to Palm Beach, and they said, look, we love this, but you guys are two men in a van, so to speak. What happens if you get in an accident on the way back to Orlando? And we're like, yeah, okay, we get it. So they said, go get some more meat around your bones, so to speak, and come back, and we're happy to launch this. So we went back. We had a board of advisors that we went and bounced ideas off of, and they had money. These were retired businessmen, and they put us in touch with a businessman who they thought would be a perfect fit. We met with his company, presented everything. They loved it, fit right in with what they were doing. So we were going to partner with them. We were going over the final pieces of the contract in early September 2001, actually on Friday before September 11th. Mm-hmm. Well, September 11th hit and everything went out the door. So that project and that little agency went by the wayside. I went back to work for a different agency, and then moved on into sales for TravelX. Sold foreign currency services for TravelX. If you ever travel and you go in an airport, you can see their little kiosk. Want to exchange money if you're going foreign country. Did that for 4.5 years. And during that time, I picked up my photography passion again. I've been doing it ever since I was in high school. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live on an airplane. I don't want to be on the telephone 8 hours a day. I want to do something different. So I started saving my money with the idea I'm going to start my own photography business. And I did that. I left TravelX, started my photography business. In the beginning, I had to do some marketing consulting to kind of help offset some of the bills. I had that money put aside, but I didn't want to touch that money, right, that I saved. You know how it is. And that's how I started my photography business. That was 10 or 11 years ago, and been doing that ever since. And then 7 years ago, I stumbled on the opportunity or an idea of creating custom designed digital business cards. And that's what we do today. And I kind of brings you up to today.
I would like to really go through a lot of what you've done. It sounds as though you have a wide variety and a well-rounded background of what you have done as far as marketing and raising funds and things like that. And you really were ahead of your time in that app for your little Palm thing. And, you know, a lot of things that you had thought of way back when have actually materialized today and are now great. And that leads into what you're doing today, which is really amazing and financial. And it's great that you're doing something like this, because not only is your business taking off from our talks, but also because you are helping the communities around the United States, and I don't know if abroad yet, but at least around the United States. So, you know, this is great, Barry, that what you're doing and what you have done. And believe me, folks, with what you're about to hear, and this is an amazing thing. And there's a lot of those apps out there. I have investigated a lot of what different parallels and things that Barry has today, but competition is great, but yet he has found a niche that really is surprisingly going well. And I am very happy for him as far as that particular item is going. So, you know, Barry, if you would like to talk about that a little bit, I just want to remind the people that they are watching the Ernie Meyer Show, and we're doing an interview with Barry Donovan, and he is about to tell us about what he's doing today and why.
Sure, Ernie, thank you. So I mentioned as I wrapped up what I've been doing, right? I talked about our digital business card, custom designed digital business cards. And we're the only company in the world that does true custom designed digital business cards. We start with a blank screen, literally, and build that card based on the branding standards of the client we're working with, right? We want to keep the brand exactly what's going on the website and on their printed materials and the other marketing information. We want that card to match those because brand is important, right? Mm-hmm. So we're the only one that does that. And about 9 months ago, no, geez, almost 11 months ago, I guess, almost a year ago, I had the opportunity to talk to a young lady who wanted me to do a digital business card for her. She was in the personal protection area. She's a nurse, but she's a victim of domestic violence. And she's starting a business where she's training women how to protect themselves. And we were chatting, and I was, asking her questions about what we could put on the card and a little bit of her background. And somehow we got on the subject of domestic violence. And we were talking about, she mentioned how as a victim, she was helped by the victim advocate at the local police department. And I'm like, tell me more about that. I don't know anything about that, right? And she said that one thing she said that caught my ear was, well, the police officer gave me a brochure that had all the resources I needed to get help or to contact the victim advocate, phone numbers and all sorts of stuff. The courts, the calling Vine, which is a victim notification system when a prisoner is in jail, and they can call in and get updates on when they're going to be released and those type of things. So a number of resources that they provided on this printed brochure. And a light went off in my head and I said, why is that printed? Why can't we do something where we create a digital version, so to speak? And I'm not talking about a web page that just has that information that they could give them the URL. But so I started thinking about it, asked around, reached out to my community of people and said, do you know any victim advocates? Talked to victim advocates and decided that this would be a good thing to try and kind of take the technology of the digital card, which really the power of the digital card, if you're not familiar with it, is you're able to share the card by tapping a link and either hitting a QR code and it pops up a QR code, somebody scans it. You can text it to somebody, you can email it to somebody, or you can copy the link and paste it on Facebook and recommend somebody or something like that. But it's all built in and it sits right here on the home screen of the phone. So I took that idea and I said, let me play with this. I got a brochure from a local police department and created a demo, so to speak, shared it with this young lady and she said, that's exactly what is needed. So here's the crazy part. How much time do we have?
Well, we do have a few minutes left, but
okay, let me tell you the crazy
remind
part.
People that we are listening to the Ernie Meyer Show, and Barry Donovan is our guest, and he has an amazing niche that he services with the police departments and the victims advocate groups. So you go ahead, tell us about the amazing part.
So as I mentioned earlier, I do photography, and I got a call from a colleague who's in California who used to live here in Colorado, wanting to know if I do some headshots. She couldn't do them because obviously she moved to Colorado, but she had a client and she thought that we would be a good fit. Mm-hmm. So I said, sure, have the client call me. The next day I get a phone call and the person on the other end says, hi, this is so-and-so with the Colorado State Patrol. Okay. I'm like, what did I do wrong, right? I didn't know it was the lady about the headshots.
It finally caught you.
Right, exactly. And she said, I'm the director of victim services for the Colorado State Patrol. And I'm calling about the headshots. I need 7 headshots of my victim advocates. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is what I'm working on right now. I need to talk to this person. So we talked about headshots for about 10, 15 minutes. And then I asked her if I could pick her brain on a project I was working on and explained it to her. And she said, oh my God, you and I are going to be best friends. Those were her exact words. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, this is exactly what we need. She said, anything you need, just ask. I'll help, any questions, just ask. So after that, I put together a card for the Colorado State Patrol, and there's seven advocates use the cards, as well as all the patrol officers have the cards on their phone and they share it as well. So what it is it's a digital card with all the information the victim needs, and by law, they're required to give this information to the victim. And instead of handing it in a piece of paper, they're sharing it with them on their phone, so they have it 24/7, 365, because a piece of paper can get lost, thrown away, slide under a couch, whatever. Or let's say they're just in their car and they're having a panic attack or something. They need to talk to their victim advocate. They got to get a hold of somebody. It's right here. So that's what it is in a kind of a nutshell. And we design these for different sheriff's departments, police departments, state patrols. We're branching out into different states now. In the beginning, we focused on Colorado because I'm in Colorado and I have connections in Colorado. But recently, we got some meetings next week in Texas and Florida. So we're starting to branch out in the other states. And it's really something near and dear to my heart. I didn't know that there were victim advocates out there. As you know, my family is involved in law enforcement. I have a son who's a sheriff's deputy. So I understand what goes on and what they go through. But I had no idea that there were these heroes out there, other heroes who are victim advocates who deal day in and day out with tragedy and help these people. They're really, truly heroes. And I'm so happy to be helping them.
That's beautiful. I think that's great. And a lot more people need to hear this story, that's for sure. And I want to thank you for being on my show today. Before I leave and we cut this off, I want to ask you, is there anything else that you would like to say about what you do, or anything else, or how they can get a hold of you?
Sure. Actually, as I mentioned, we do digital business cards. If you're a business professional and you have paper cards, you might want to consider a digital card. And if you contact us, Ernie will have the web address in the notes, as well as my email, I'm sure, and my phone number. But if you contact us at visness.card.com, that's VISNESS card.com, we'll be happy to take $20 off our setup fee. If you do that by the end of November of this year, just mention the Ernie Meyer Show and we'll be happy to knock off $20 off that setup fee. Right now, I believe our fee is $120 setup fee and $99 a year subscription. So we'll take $20 off that setup fee.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate that on behalf of our audience. And believe me, people, if you want to contact Barry for your own personal digital card, or you're involved in the police group and the police activities, please contact him. Let him explain exactly what he has, even in more depth than what he has done here. So, for me to offer people out there, if you have a story to tell, if you have something compelling that you've created or invented like Barry has, please reach out to us and ask me to be on the show. I will do an interview for you for free. I always say you can have your 15 or 20 minutes of fame on my show. And I will promote this as well as get your name out there. So, you can make a living or you can design your life. The choice is yours.
Absolutely.
Bye for now.